Good evening, I'm Ian Haslam. Welcome to another later and slightly shorter than usual North West Tonight. The mother of a British teenager who's gone missing during a holiday in Tenerife says having to search for her son has been horrendous. 19-year-old Jay Slater from Oswald in Lancashire was last heard from on Monday morning. The search is now concentrated on the mountainous rural De Tenno area, as Davinia Ramos reports.
Just a few days ago, Jay Slater was laughing with his friends. But today, the search effort to find the missing teenager has been heavily ramped up. The 19-year-old had travelled to Tenerife for the NRG Music Festival. He left the festival with some people he met and contacted his friend Lucy at around 8 a.m. on Monday morning. He said he was thirsty and his phone had 1% battery left. His last known location was the rural De Tenno National Park, a mountainous area that's popular with hikers.
It's very mountainous, it's quite sparse, quite barren, quite deserty in a lot of ways with some very deep ravines and valleys. It's certainly somewhere that you would not want to be under normal conditions without the correct footwear, particularly without water.
The teenager's mum has flown out to Tenerife with his older brother to look for him. She said she's growing increasingly worried for her son and fears he's been taken against his will. For the past 2 days, local police and mountain rescue teams have been working tirelessly to look for Jay.
They did start a search early, on foot, with mountain rescue and the Guardia, all led by the Guardia Civil, with sniffer dogs, using drones and search helicopters. So it's been really extensive.
Jay's family and friends have now set up a Facebook page to provide updates on the search, and a number of volunteers have gone out to help look for him. His loved ones are desperate to find him safe and sound. Davinia Ramos, BBC North West Tonight.
A hospital consultant has said that it's to his infinite regret that he didn't call the police when he suspected that Lucy Letby might be killing babies on the ward where they both worked. Dr Ravi Jairam was giving evidence at the retrial of the nurse who's accused of attempting to murder a premature baby in February 2016. Yunus Muller sent this report from Manchester Crown Court.
Dr Ravi Jairam, a senior consultant, said he was uncomfortable that Lucy Letby was alone with a baby known only as Child K, who was born at 25 weeks and who was in the intensive care room of the neonatal unit at the Countess of Chester Hospital. And that's because a number of consultants felt there was an association between Lucy Letby and a number of babies who had died at the hospital. So he went inside to reassure himself that everything was okay. He found Lucy Letby stood next to the incubator. Her hands were not inside. The baby's oxygen levels were dropping, but there's no obvious evidence that she was doing anything. He stabilized the baby by giving her some breaths. He felt that a tube had been dislodged. He was surprised that she hadn't called for help. Now, under cross-examination from Ben Myers, KC for the defence, he said that it was possible but improbable that the baby had dislodged that tube herself because of her condition. He also denied that he was adding extra detail to the detriment of Lucy Letby and that he didn't have any suspicions at the time. There was a series of rapid exchanges between the two over why he didn't call the police. He said that the culture of the NHS was such that he wouldn't have been believed at the time and that it was a matter of regret that he didn't call the police at the time. Now, previous trial, Lucy Letby was found guilty of the murders of 7 babies and the attempted murder of 6 babies. At this trial, she denies 1 count of attempted murder. Yunus Muller, BBC North West Tonight, Manchester.
Some of today's other news now, and 2 teenage boys have been jailed for the murder of a 14-year-old in Manchester. Nathaniel Sharney died after being knifed in an alleyway in Harperhay last September. 2 boys, boy A, aged 15, and boy B, aged 14, who can't be named for legal reasons, were sentenced to a minimum of 13 years and 10 years respectively.
Nathaniel was not carrying a knife, and he was defenceless against 2 boys who he had once named his friends. So many lives were ruined that night. As well as Nathaniel's, his family was turned upside down, but also his young friends who saw him dying in the street. and they will never be able to forget that memory.
The Workers' Party of Great Britain launched its manifesto today in Manchester. The party leader, George Galloway, who recently won a by-election in Rochdale, said the party was committed to large-scale council house building, withdrawal from NATO and support for the Palestinian cause. Now, staying with the election, and one of the key marginals in the northwest is Southport. It's currently the only Tory seat in Merseyside, which they took over from the Lib Dems, who'd held it for 20 years. Now it's high on Labour's list of target seats, so what's on voters' minds there? Claire Hamilton has been finding out.
Time for 11s at the Westminster Tea Rooms in Southport. One subject that's usually off the menu here, though, politics.
People come and relax. The music's on, we have no internet, which is amazing because people actually talk to each other.
Staff have been serving up scones and sandwiches here for 2 decades. Catherine and Lisa say even in the shorter time they've worked here, the seaside town has changed a lot.
People come on holiday, usually weekend, 5 days. The shops are nowhere what they should be.
There's not a lot of things like clothes shops. It is a lot of restaurants, which is great, but obviously people want more diversity on the high street so that they're not just going online or going to other places to get what they need.
A few doors down, Usman's been selling clothing at his shop for 10 years.
There's a lot of shops which are closed down.
What about your business?
Well, we've got a lot of regulars keeping us ticking over, and we're not here to make millions overnight. We're happy to make a salary and not be a burden on the state, so we're happy we keep going.
Like many seaside towns, Southport struggled to compete with holiday destinations with guaranteed good weather. There's been investment and grand plans for the seafront are promised. The famous pier remains closed and voters want to know who's going to find the cash needed to reopen it.
A lot of people come here for the pier, for the beach, and without the pier it just seems like, what's the point?
Is just take a look left and right and across the road and ask yourself, why is it there's so many empty premises here which could be used A, for the homeless, or B, for generating more business.
Thanks a lot. Political parties of all flavours have got their eye on Southport. It's been yellow, it's been blue, it's never been red. So what way will the political wind be blowing on the 4th of July? We'll find out.
There's a treat in store here for fans of close political contests. With the rest of Merseyside being home to some of Labour's biggest majorities, this expert says Southport will be one to watch.
Merseyside has gone redder and redder over time. This is really the last place that Labour needs to win to get the full set of constituencies in Merseyside. It is a bit different. It's on the very edge of Merseyside. A lot of people here feel that it's more Lancashire than Merseyside. It's got a bit of a different population structure, an older population. But over time, it has gone more Labour.
Time may be standing still here, back at the tea room, but for politicians in Westminster, it's marching towards election day. Claire Hamilton, BBC North West Tonight, Southport.
Right, it's weather time now. I've been moaning about it being dismal for the past few weeks. Today, it was really sunny, and Emmanuel, I went for a walk on my lunch break.
Yeah.
I got a lunch break, it's a miracle. I think I've caught the sun a bit.
Yes, quite a change we've seen weather-wise. Good evening. So yes, a lot more drier today and pleasant as well. And the good news, if that's your kind of weather, because we've got more in store tomorrow. There is the risk of the odd shower, but it will be mostly dry and sunny as well into the afternoon. And we'll continue with the dry conditions as we head into tonight. It will be clear as well. The winds will fall light, but depending where you are, it will rather be mild or cool under those clear skies. Temperatures ranging between 9 and 12 degrees Celsius. So we start off tomorrow with some sunny spells. Through the day, there is the risk of the odd shower because we will get some patchy cloud. But then in the afternoon, a lot of sunshine out there. And because of that, temperatures climbing ever slightly, highs potentially of 22 degrees Celsius. So tomorrow night, we do have a weather front moving through, and that will potentially bring us something a little bit cloudy. But I think it's mostly on Friday that you will notice that slight change, because we'll see quite a lot of cloud, and that means we could be seeing some rain later in the evening. Back to you.
Excellent stuff, Emmanuel. It's looking good. Right, I like the Euros as much as anybody, but it means we're on at 11 o'clock tonight, so if you can stay awake till then, I really appreciate it. Join us for that if you can. But from myself and Emmanuel, have a good rest of the evening. Bye-bye.